Hi, everyone. This is Gary Wilson. Welcome to tonight's live GoToWebinar and Facebook Live event. Okay, this is part 2 of the 5-part series for you to help you build massive new wealth and income in your business. Okay, this is all part of the blueprint for building personal financial freedom. Okay, this is, we call this the MASTERCLASS series. Last week you were on, that was Friday, we talked about flips. We gave you a couple of tools to figure out how to flip correctly so you can maximize your profit and also minimize risk. And I want you to retain that because we actually piggyback on part of that for use when it comes to buying rentals. Okay, so this is really, you've got to really kind of hang in there through this 5-part series. If you kind of jump around, it's going to be difficult for you to grasp the whole thing. So, but I mean, you can still plug into any one particular session. It's just if you get all 5 of them, you'll get the big picture. It'll make a lot more sense, okay? So in any case, welcome aboard to everyone who's on Facebook Live or on GoToWebinar Live. Either way, we are recording this, all right? Tonight's subject is how we call a rental profits without the pain, okay? Kind of a appropriate title because the fact is a lot of people get into investing in rental real estate and a lot of them just barely survive, yet some people thrive. And why is that? Well, there absolutely is a pattern to follow. Success leaves clues. So the steps you want to follow. In any case, welcome aboard to all of you. I'm Gary Wilson. Also, for those of you who are participating in our 3-day event in Orlando coming up March, St. Patrick's Day weekend, March 16th, 17th, 18th. Congratulations for gathering yourself a spot. Cool thing is we're going to go over all the content from all the programs, all 5 programs, at that event, plus we're going to be doing some pretty major networking with all of us from around the U.S. and Canada. And, of course, we've got the guests, Ryan Snow and Rock Thomas coming in to really pump you guys up and also give content, too. So pretty amazing event. And I want to reach out and congratulate those of you who have already registered for that. So, okay, so without further ado, go ahead and jump into tonight's material. So real quick, remember last week I showed you the school report and also a letter we use to attract certain owners of certain types of properties, okay? We don't do just the mass mailing stuff. We don't go use the MLS, okay? I mean, we can use the MLS, but quite frankly, it's going to be small. So we teach you how to go under the radar screen and use techniques to find people directly, approach them directly in a way that's easy for them to respond with higher response rates and higher conversion rates, okay? So let's go ahead and jump into it here. I'm going to turn my screen off just for the moment, so hang on one second. And then I'll turn it and I'll put it on kind of reduced view here, so hang on one second. This first things first. You should all now see my screen that says fastest path to profit and freedom. All right, you should have that. And let me turn this back on. There. Let's see. This should be reduced. Oops, hang on a second. Wrong screen. People can. Okay, I'm not exactly sure how to reduce this. Hang on one second. I thought I knew how. Oh, here we go. All right. You should still see me up in the corner, and you should see my screen full scale ahead. So Beverly's on board. Welcome, Beverly. Beverly, if you're not seeing the screen fastest path to profit and freedom, please let me know. Or if my video of me is hogging up the whole screen, let me know that. Or if it's up in the corner, that's great. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this, guys. So I'm going to fast forward here to get to the first screen that I want to show you. All right, for those of you who were on last week, congratulations, because this is going to remind you of part of what we covered last week. So first things first, this is called Militia Datacom. Now, when we're buying rentals, okay, or if we're helping investors buy rentals, we like to use this tool in the beginning because, number one, it's free, all right? It came out as a result of U.S. Postal Service's Every Door Direct marketing program. It's a program anybody can use. There's certain things you can use for free, and this is one of them. Now, we do give you the exact link for this website. If you use the exact link that we give you, it is completely free. So let's just jump into it. What we do is this. In the United States, we can use this to plug in any zip code we want, anywhere in the country, okay? And within that zip code, we can see the carrier data. Now, obviously, we bypass P.O. boxes because they're P.O. boxes. and we focus on the carrier routes. C actually means city, so C041 is carrier route 41. If it had an R in the front, that would be for rural route. R for rural, C for city, okay? We can see how many businesses are in that carrier route. We can see how many people live, how many apartments there are, which is really important. I'll get back to that in a second. We can see how many people live there. We can see what they make, and we can see the average property value. The cool thing is these map buttons are clickable. Now, this is a PDF, so I can't click on it. But what it does is it brings up the map view showing you the complete route that the postman takes with the mail through the neighborhood, including street names and everything. Now, what we do is we use this to do our searching based on geography. We do geographic searches mimicking these map views, okay? Now, when we're buying rentals, we actually only look in areas and carrier routes that have a lot of apartments. Now, real quick, I just want to draw a distinction here. We're not saying that every apartment is a rental. What we're saying is there's a relationship between the numbers of apartments and the numbers of rentals, okay? So in this area, for example, carrier route 41, we've got 147 apartments. They could be 2 units in a duplex. They could be 10 units in a 10-plex. We don't get that information. All we know is there's 177 apartments, no matter what the makeup is, okay, in that carrier route. So, for example, I would look in that carrier route because there's a lot of apartments. And I know wherever there's more apartments, there's more rentals. I would look in this one down here where there's 133. And I would look at this one down here where there's 142 apartments, okay? I wouldn't look here where there's only no apartments. And I wouldn't look here even where there's only 7 apartments. I know I might miss a deal every now and then, and I'm okay with that because I'm dramatically increasing my odds of finding rentals only in the areas that are likely to have more rentals. Why am I going to spend my time looking at all these other areas where there's only 12 rentals? That's why we want to increase our odds of success, not decrease our odds of success, okay? Now, so far, I want to make sure everybody's okay. So I'm going to pull over my attendee panel. And by the way, welcome aboard to all of you who are already students of mine. I see a bunch of you on there. And I see some new folks too. So, Dietwin, good to see you. Doug, Ed, Hazel, good to see you. Floyd, good to see you. A couple of brand new guys on here. Greg Portal, Armenia, long time no see. Hope you're doing well over here. In any case, welcome aboard to all of you guys. By the way, if you are just logging in, I'm Gary Wilson, the lead trainer and product developer for My Investment Services, and we have specific educational programs on investing, specific by subject. Flipping is one, buying rentals is one, managing rentals is one, wholesaling is one, using your license to generate more cash flow is one, obviously. So, in any case, welcome aboard all you guys. I'm going to reduce the attendee panel and open up your question box. I just want to make sure we are okay on questions. I should have asked that in the beginning. Let's see here. What is the web page again? Oh, it's so Kevin is called Militia Datacom. Bev, I think we can send them the exact link, if I'm not mistaken. And perhaps we can post that. Trying to think of where I can locate that readily. Bev, if you can locate it, maybe on the My Investment Services website, copy it, and we can post it in the chat box here for everybody to see that. How about that? So, Kevin, we'll do that. It might take a few minutes for us to do that. Let's see. Beverly, if you're on, let me know if, okay, Michael says it's on chat now. Wonderful. Okay. All right, so it looks like you guys were able to see, you're able to see somebody, okay, it looks like you can see my full page now. All right, good. Well, let me continue here, guys. If you have questions, type them in. Beverly and I will get to them. So I want to show you something real quick here. It looks like you guys can see my screen and see me. I want to show you something that I learned that's really important. It kind of coincides with what I'm showing you on the computer now. So I'm going to show you in the view here, right, on my screen. Let me just pull my panel over so I can see what you guys are seeing. So hang on one second. Let's do this. Let me go back to webcam. Okay. All right, now, it looks like, hopefully you guys can see this. What you're seeing is a chart I drew, just a diagram. There's a line down here, we call this flatlining. When I started investing, guys, I was doing what's called flatlining, which means I'm paying the same kind of properties over and over again, using the same kind of techniques. You know, the no money down, owner financing, buying on terms, things like that. All great stuff. We've all learned it over the years. It actually does work. I just don't like it anymore because our odds of success are dramatically smaller. Turns out when we actually buy better properties, long term we have much more success. So let me show you what I learned when I started using my license to help other investors do what I was doing. I very quickly learned that some of them were not doing this flatline. This will take you forever to build up enough substantial wealth for them to retire. Okay. What I learned was there were investors who were growing vertically. Like growing horizontally means you're adding volume to your business, to your life, but you're not gaining any ground, right? Growing vertically means you're gaining ground. So what I learned was this. These guys didn't keep buying the same kind of properties over and over again. And let's face it, if we bought a duplex and it works very well, we would like to go out and buy another duplex. You know, that's the way our brains are wired. Hey, it worked this time, let's repeat it. What these guys did is they forced themselves, they disciplined themselves to be patient, to only buy the next bigger property in terms of numbers of units. All right? This is a model. Duplex, fourplex, eightplex, 16plex. The point is this. They bought properties that allowed them to position themselves to buy the next bigger property. They didn't keep buying the same kind of property. There's lots of math behind this, but you don't have to worry about all that right now. What I want you to think about is, imagine in 4 moves, you acquire 30 units. How long would it take you to acquire 30 units buying single-family homes or duplexes, okay? That's just one reason. Lots of other reasons, right? In fact, I can tell you, I moved from Grant Cardone. He's got a couple of great books. What's interesting is I have a sort of a personal connection with him. He will tell you, you would never buy a duplex unless it positioned you to buy the fourplex, okay? At the end of the day, if you think about it, if I go visit a 100-unit property, I can go visit that in one day and be done, probably an afternoon. If I try to go visit 100 single-family homes, that would take me 2 weeks. There's 100 furnaces, 100 air conditioning units, 100 roofs, 100 driveways, 100 everything. In an apartment complex, everything is essentially located in one area. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy a 100-unit complex right now. What I'm saying is start where you are in the beginning. If where you are is flipping a home or buying a duplex or even a single-family home, then do that. That's where you start. What I'm suggesting is be disciplined, be focused, be patient to only buy the next bigger property. Okay? The progression is not a straight line. It's like a curve, just like this. It's a curve. It starts off slow, but over time it picks up steam. And I will tell you guys, this down here will get you financial independence. This gets you financial freedom. Okay? Huge difference. So one of the things I want to point out here is this, is in an area like this, I'm back to my screen now, looking at this area, there's 177 apartments. If you notice they're low priced, an average of $115 per property. What happens is down here looks like an area like this, lots of units, low price. This type of investing ever usually shows up in an area like this, lots of units, 133 units now. But look at the price, $155,000, nearly 50% more than I was paying up here. And again, at first it freaked me out. I'm thinking, I can't be doing this right. I'm spending more money, buying more expensive properties, put my own money down. And I will tell you, if you hang in there over time, this will grow your portfolio much faster than this will any day of the week. Okay? Okay, I feel like I beat that horse to death. But so type in, let me know if this actually helps you. If what I just showed you helps you personally, as far as your own personal goals for investing, let me know, because for me, this was the game changer. Probably going back, how many years? Probably 15 years ago. Okay? This allows you to get out of debt, put it this way. This allows you to be put on a cash basis much more quickly than this. This down here, flatlining, is always in debt. This allows you to apply methodology like we learned from Dave Ramsey, which is, you know what? Pay this little thing off here first. Usually a small debt, you can take care of it more quickly. Now your overall debt is reduced and your cash flow is increased. Now you have more cash flow to apply to the next property. and it does start to snowball, except it goes uphill in this case, okay? I mean, I could go on and on. I just want to give you some basic reasons why we advocate this. It's a game of patience, but over time, this is actually faster, okay? So real quick, let me put this down and check the question box here and make sure we're okay before I get into some other material, all right? So let's go back here. Hang on one second. Okay, question box. Let's see if we got any, the link goes to Salesforce. So if somebody's saying the link went to Salesforce, I'm not sure what that's all about. Okay, now it's on chat. I can see you only. Do I need to go to Facebook Live, Leroy? I need to see the exact link for the free Militia Datacom. Though it should be it says it's on the chat box. That's, Leroy, that is on the chat box now, the link, okay? Can you pull up your diagram so we can see the bottom of page? Yes, okay? So let me do this, okay? So that is, who's asking that question? Lisa. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Lisa, does that help you? Can you see the bottom? And I apologize, I didn't realize that was cut off there before. Okay. All right, good. It seems like everybody is okay now. Yes. Okay, great. Everybody can see the chart and see my Facebook. By the way, I'm actually on a cruise ship right now. Okay. I'm out in the middle of the Caribbean right now, and I'll be here through Saturday. So what's wonderful is we get to do these kind of things because I did what I'm showing you how to do right here on this webinar, and actually part of this 5-part webinar series. So kudos to you for jumping on board. All right, let's do this, guys. I want to go ahead and move forward here because we generally try to give you about a half hour of content because it's easier to absorb and retain. So I want to show you one more thing here. This is called a Planning Commission website, okay? Planning Commission websites give us a lot of really, really good information on our areas. Good news is every county has one, whether you're in U.S. or Canada, and actually most municipalities have them too. .gov, they take data from your local, your tax assessor's database. Most states and provinces, that's at the county level. Some states, I think like New Jersey and New York, they provide the tax assessor's data at the municipal level. Either way, it's available. Planning Commission's website. Planning commissions exist to determine where we're going to build schools, parks, bridges, roads, etc. Kind of do is invest, but what we really want more out of these data they provide. All the data from U.S. Census.gov or in Canada, Stats Canada, it's all in here. All the demographics, all the social graphics, everything about every person in your area. So now we have that to people information. In this example, I can see everything in here. Like, for example, how many people live here in 5 rankings. But here's something else I want to, and by the way, this is kind of important when you're looking to pick up rentals. You've got to know your demographics. This helps you know your demographics based on the areas in these zip codes, okay? So let's go back here. I want to show you one more screen. In these Planning Commission websites, and just bear in mind that no two look alike, guys. Unfortunately, they're all programmed by different programmers, but they all have similar data. And you drill down, you're not looking at the county level. You actually drill down to look at the specific neighborhood level, okay? So in here, what I have is a couple of ratio statistics to show me how many people live here based on renters and based on owners, okay? So, for example, here's why this is important. I like to know the percentage of people owning. In this example here, owner-occupied tells us 48.5% of people are owning and 51.5% of the people are renting. Here's why this is important. When I'm flipping homes, I want to flip homes in an area that are greater than 2/3 owner-occupied. In other words, if this number said 67%, I would probably area. I might want to buy some rentals, but I'd be more inclined to flip homes, okay? Greater than 2/3. Here's the interesting thing. When it comes to buying rentals, we want to be in an area where the percentage of rentership is between 1/3 and 2/3. I just want to just slow for a second and let that sink in. When we buy rentals, we want percentage of rentership to be typically between 1/3 and 2/3. There is a reason for that, and the reason is this, is that kind of like the sweet spot. If you think about it logically, what does that mean? Why wouldn't we want to invest in an area that's less than 1/3 rentership? Well, that's because that area is greater than 2/3 ownership, which is where we want to flip, right? Now, you're probably asking, okay, what about the opposite extreme? What about the areas that are greater than 2/3 rentership? Why wouldn't we want to buy rentals there? You can in some cases, but think about this. Let's say you have an area that's 90% tenant occupied. What might that area look like? Yeah, exactly. Sometimes a war zone, but we don't advocate war zone investing. We like A, B, and C properties, and we generally don't go below A plus, A minus, B plus, B minus, C plus, C minus. C minus is usually a lot of government subsidized areas, government housing, not just government subsidized. We do invest there, but when you have actual government housing, that's typically not where you want to invest, okay? We like the middle C's, high C's, and low B's, right? So, in any case, there are exceptions. Now, let's say you could pick up some rental properties in an area where you're near a hospital system, a university system. Those are generally pretty stable areas to buy rentals in. If you think about it, people always get sick, right? So hospitals are stable. They're relatively recession-proof. Universities and colleges. What's interesting is if you look at statistics, during a recession, college enrollment actually increased. So what's interesting is college and universities, you can always find renters there, obviously students. I prefer graduate students, medical students, interns, residents, things like that. But if you rent to underclassmen, just beware, you're going to likely have some pretty solid built buildings. I mean, like get really thick tile. Let me just do a quick tangent here. If you have student housing, you're renting to undergraduate guys, don't use any carpeting at all. I don't even like hardwood floors because they can get scratched up and damaged. If you get the thickest tile you can get, make it like Fort Knox. You can drop a keg of beer on that stuff and it still won't crack, okay? Satin paint, just full flat painting, that kind of stuff, right? Semi-gloss is just too, you'll have what's called sweating. When those students have parties, you'll get beads of dew dripping from your ceiling, okay? In any case, just a little bit of a tangent there. So what I'm getting at is there are exceptions to where you buy rentals, okay? If you're in a highly populated area, obviously being in town is important to people who are renting single bedroom units and two bedroom units. They're like roommates, for example. You want to be in your shopping, your dining, your transportation, things like that. Okay. In any case, I want to make sure everybody is okay so far. Hopefully you're grasping what I'm saying there. So let me reduce my attendee panel, go back to the question panel, and make sure everybody's okay so far. So if you're on Facebook Live, guys, so make sure you're wherever you are, type in your questions so we can get to them, okay? Let's see, somebody's asking, Valerie Deneen, hey Valerie, how are you? Is asking, please go over the assessment of the apartment count, residential count, and average property value again. Enjoy your cruise. Thank you very much. Okay, so Valerie, when we buy rentals, we want to buy rentals in an area where the rentership is between 1/3 and 2/3. In other words, let's just talk about flippers rent. When we switch gears, so when we're flipping homes, we want to flip in an area that's greater than 2/3 ownership. Okay, so remember that greater than 2/3 ownership is where we want to flip, which means that area is by default less than 1/3 tenant based. Okay, so now let's switch to the rental game. We wouldn't want to buy rentals in an area that's less than 1/3 rentership. Well, we could put a lot more cash down, and so you can cash flow. But the reason is just more per room, and the increase in price or any increase in rent you make is not going to be commensurate with the increase in value. So over time, what happens is you get to a point where it just doesn't make sense to buy there, in those high-end areas, unless you're using all cash, which people do, and then you're going to have some cash flow coming in. But regardless, basically speaking, we want to be buying rentals in an area that are between 1/3 and 2/3 tenant occupied. Okay, and remember, on the opposite end of the spectrum, greater than 2/3 rentership, in other words, less than 1/3 ownership, is usually an area where it's probably got some challenges, aesthetic problems, crime problems, value problems, things like that, with the exceptions of hospital systems, university systems. So thanks for the question, Valerie. I appreciate matter of fact, if you grasp this, what I'm going to show you coming up is going to make a lot more sense, okay? Okay. Yeah, somebody typed in, wow, nice. Yvette, you're very welcome. I tell you what, Yvette, when I discovered all this, it changed how I invested. I didn't create this, I just discovered it. And what I realized is before, back to this, like, I'm killing myself, working my butt off, right? I'm coming home at night, my children are already in bed. Let me tell you, there are enough times it'll tear at your heartstrings, right? When I figured this out and applied this, here's the numbers. Doing this stuff down here, guys, in 17 years of this type of investing, flatlining we call it, I had a whopping 42 units. When I applied this methodology up here, in less than 5 years, I added another 208 units. It started off slower. Like at first I'm thinking I'm making mistakes. Turns out I wasn't. In an average of about 3 years, the difference will start to show up. And let's face it, the rents on these better properties are going to go up much more than the rents on these ones down here. That's really one of the big reasons, okay? Because the valuations are then worth a lot more. There's a lot of reasons for that, right? But in any case, let me do this. I want to try to squeeze in one more thing here, guys. We're getting close. Here's what it is. All right, I've got to do this. I'm going to shut this down, not the whole thing, just the PowerPoint, because I want to do one more thing here. If you remember the letter I showed you last, check this out. This is really important. We don't just send a letter to I can hear you out there. We go to court records. By the way, in our training programs, we show you how to do this, okay? We show you how to bypass attorneys, get the court records. Example, there are tenant cases where landlords are evicting tenants. Here's one right here. Landlord case -18, which is year 2018, this year, case number 179. This is just 1 week of searches, okay? Is evict, okay? Somebody, and then the last there. By the way, you can see the actual plaintiff and defendant records, address, name and address, okay? And we can figure out petitioner actually owns 407 Montgomery, where this defendant, Corey Work, lives in apartment 2. So go to the tax assessor, okay? Pull up the information and validate that, yes, petitioner, Nancy and Kenneth do 407 Montgomery. Importantly, we get their actual mailing address. They live at 95 Clearview. They don't live at the property. They don't live in Montgomery. They live at Clearview. Now we can send them for last week. Who are evicting tenants? Do you think we're likely to want to sell? Well, they certainly are. So we only go for people, we only approach owners who need to or want to sell based on public records that we can get to, and we teach you how to do this. So real quick, guys, I want to kind of get into the next subject here real quick, which is for those of you who like this, we've got 3 more sessions coming up. This coming Friday, 2:30, the following Monday, 8 p.m., a week from tonight, and the following Friday, the 9th of March, at, again, 2:30 in the afternoon. We're going to cover how do you actually take care of these properties financially for maximum profit. That's next week. Then after that, we're going to go into, that's just Friday, excuse me. Next Monday, we'll talk about wholesaling. Then following Friday the 9th, we'll talk about how to leverage a license to make a whole lot more money. But here's what's cool. For those of you who are on tonight, we are going to send you the book on this subject, Rental Profits Without the Pain. But more importantly, if you want to purchase a ticket for our event coming up, it's the Prosperity Path to Prosperity, March 16th, 17th, 18th in Orlando. We're all going to be there, from people all over from the U.S. and Canada. A lot of agents who are trained to work with us investors. I've trained them myself personally, and a lot of other investors, networking, and more importantly, learning from all 5 programs in the 3 days, all the content, not just pieces like here, like a half-hour piece. I'm going to give you everything in those events. And here's what's really cool. For those of you who do get a ticket, we're actually going to let you get a second ticket for free to bring somebody with you. You only have to buy one ticket to the event and bring somebody with you. I thought about that because I know when I attend events, I like going with somebody. So come on down to Orlando. We're going to be at the Omni Champions Gate, March 16th, 17th, 18th. You can register using the link right here. That should be coming over right now in your chat box. Or if you're on Facebook, right there in the comments section. Make sure you send us your comments. If we didn't get to any questions tonight, we'll certainly get to them follow up. All right. And congratulations again for all of you who've already registered for the event. Ryan Alley, Daryl Murphy, I can't think of, I mean, these are just ones I've just seen recently here. My gosh, Nick from Sacramento, Ryan Alley's from Washington State, Seattle, Daryl Murphy's from New Jersey. We got, who was it, Bill, Kent, I think, from the Triad area of North Carolina, and several Floridians. So in any case, welcome aboard, guys. I look forward to seeing you all then. I also look forward to seeing you this coming Friday, 2:30 in the afternoon. Same at 2:30, Facebook Live or GoToWebinar. So, all right, guys. I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to keep this open for a moment in case anybody does have any follow-up questions. I'll be glad to help you out any way I can. And it's so good to see a lot of familiar names here. So some of you I've known for, my gosh, 3 years. I mean, some of you 16 or 17 years I've known some of you. So I can't wait to see everybody in person there. We're going to have a lot of fun. I've got some Irish dancers coming because it's St. Paddy's Day weekend. We've got Rock Thomas coming. He's not only an investor, he's a business owner like me. I tell you guys, when you learn to leverage your real estate investing to build other businesses, your whole life's going to take off. Okay, you get to do things like take this cruise, for example. I don't ever actually consider any day working. I do this while I'm having fun. I'm having fun doing this too, in fact. Rock Thomas was just in Thailand for like 6 weeks straight. And we were communicating. He was on our webinar back a few weeks ago. It was 7 p.m. for us, 7 a.m. for him. So if you like that kind of lifestyle, man, come meet all these guys in person. You get to actually pick their brains in person and get to help you succeed. I mean, there's nothing better than networking with people who actually are doing what you want to do. In fact, I credit my success on doing these types of things, on networking with other people who are succeeding. I sometimes get 10 things, sometimes I get 5 things that I can use in my business. I might only implement 3 of them. But man, one of them alone usually will make me, okay? So, let's see, we got Janet. Thanks, Gary. It's really great. So, hey, Janet, you're saying you couldn't, we'll give you, if you lost the first book on flipping, we'll make sure we get that to you. So, Beverly, okay, if we can get her, send that to her again. So Kimberly's asking, can you put up a copy of the letter for farming from the first webinar? Kimberly, you know what I do, Kimberly? Unfortunately, I've got to retrieve that. It's trying to think of where I have it. Quickly here. It's a type of a little bit of research. It's the current slide. Everybody do a screen tools I use to file up. Let's see. We're giving you poor performance here. Hang on. Hang on 1 second. No, it's not. We're not okay. Kimberly, if you can see this, let me know. I'm going to wait for a second to make sure you're okay. And anybody else, let's see. Okay, so Janet just got her book, excuse me. So Rolando, I'd also appreciate a couple of items. Hey, Rolando, your message got cut off there, buddy. If you can send me an email, that would be great. Yvette, thank you. Have a great time on the cruise. See you Friday. Rolando, flipping book. Rolando wants the flipping book also. Hot link for the Militia Data. Yeah, that's in your, Rolando, that's actually in your training material. But I think we can send, I think that was up in the chat box. So if you watch the, I think you're allowed to see a replay because you've been on the webinar tonight. You can see that. You can get that from the replay. Let's see, Michelle, is there a way to access the first webinar if I missed it? I'm not sure, Michelle. Beverly can answer that, so look for an answer for Beverly on that in the chat box here. Let's see. Looks like some people are saying I'm froze, but I'm back again. Okay, good thing I'm frozen. Successful with downloading the Rent Profits text. Thanks. You're welcome, Rolando. Glad you were able to do that. Okay, and Kathy is saying, Gary, I came in late. Can I listen to the replay of this and also the first class? So Beverly will answer that in the chat box here. I'm not sure how the replays work. I'm pretty sure I know you can get this one. The other one may have expired, Kathy. I'll let Beverly answer that one. And Kimberly got the letter. Hot diggity dog. Everybody. This is the only thing I have with this. But I will tell you, at one point, I had 187 active properties I was selling, not as an investor, but as a broker. 130 results of this letter. Okay? I use it myself for my own investing too. That's how I got started. And I taught agents how to use this, okay, to serve their investors. By the way, for all you investors, come to you're going to get to meet. We have agents we train now on all 48, lower 48 states and 3 Canadian provinces. I'm literally over almost 550 towns and cities. I can almost assure you we got somebody in your area. So come meet them in person, network, and get yourself a really good part for you. Okay, all right. Pearl says, hi, Beverly. Kudos to Beverly. That's from Valerie, yeah. Okay, guys. I think that's pretty much it. I know on Facebook we're about 7 minutes over, and a lot of times that's kind of a big deal for people. So looks like all the questions have stopped. I appreciate you guys being on board tonight. No pun intended, being on board. On Friday, I'll be on board again. I might be wearing my... No, I'll have to wear a shirt. If I'm going to be on the camera, I'll have a shirt on. So you'll see I'll probably be in my bathing suit, which I will, but I'll be wearing a T-shirt too. In any case, guys, God bless you all. Hope you have an awesome week. And I will see you on Friday. Don't forget to click on the link to register the event, because that's, I think, Beverly, what she does, if you do it while we're the day of these live half-hour sessions, you actually get that second ticket for free. That's like only the day we do these. We don't. If you look online, we don't do that. Okay, that's not like a gimmick thing. It's just what we do to reward people who are taking action. You know what? Successful people take action. All right. God bless you and your families. We will see you Friday. Take care, guys.